So here we are in Blackburn, but that's actually a side note to today's message. It's just interesting, and I find it interesting that everywhere I go, there seems to be someone in the comment section who is from here, so let's see if that's the case today. But today, location is not what I'm here to talk about at all. I'm actually here somewhat to talk about business. So a phrase that I hear an awful lot is this one: never mix work and pleasure. Now of course that can mean a number of different things. But for the context of what I'm trying to explain, I want to talk about how I've interpreted it. I see that as meaning, well, you don't cross your friends with your colleagues, you don't cross your family members with your business. And I think we've all seen or heard of examples where that's very much necessary, where things basically just go completely wrong when people mix the two things together. But I don't think it's always a bad thing. Actually, I think it's a good thing. I think this message is one that's wrong, and I have to ask personally why it's a message that we're told. So maybe it does make sense to first identify the risks. And there are a lot of risks that come with working with the people that you know, the people that you love, the people that have supported you in life as a whole. I think a big potential issue with it is the fact that we've all seen cases where it doesn't work out. And the question is, what happens if it doesn't work? Damage limitation and risk management is always an essential part of running any kind of a business or starting any kind of a project. And I suppose that is a potential risk. Let's close the door. So that can always happen. It's always a risk that I suppose is there. And as long-term viewers of the channel will know, I'm not a person who's often influenced by popular opinion. I like to make my own view on things. And generally speaking, on this issue, I see both sides, but it's very subjective. So I'd like to hope that friends, family's a bit more, it can be 50-50. Mine are very good, friends and family, but friends specifically, they're the people who you choose to spend your time with. Your family, you can't necessarily help who they are, but let's say people who you hold close to yourself. In my eyes, that's going to be the people who are invested in my mission, they know what I want the most, and they have, again, an invested or a vested interest in helping that actualize. And then I hear this, people shouldn't mix work with play. But the people who you'd be working with are your closest allies. If I had to employ someone, as sometimes I am thinking of, let's say for example I had two options, right? Option one is maybe get one of my friends to do some of the work, or maybe a family member or whatever, or get some random to do it. I'm taking my friend every single day, right? Or a family member, because we can make money together. Yes, I am probably still going to make more, that's almost certain, that's the benefit of running the business. But you will be able to get some money, you'll be able to help me, and again, I know that you're less likely to mess things up for me. I decided that when I'm building my reselling business as I am, there's only so much I can do, or even want to do in that field, right? There's only so much work that I can do, even if I put 100% effort in all the time. So what did I decide to do eventually? I decided to go to the person who I trust the most, probably in the world, for help. I asked my mum to do some of the listings for me, and she did. And we're making sales slowly in that store. That's a clothing reselling brand. But that's kind of not the point. The point is, that's who I went to for help. Again, I could have hired someone on Fiverr or some other site, probably for a cheaper cut, right? But it's a real investment there, because I might be paying more up front, but I'm working with one of the people who I can trust the most in the world. And when people ask me, well, should I start a business with my brother, my sister, my best friend, whatever, I'm always like, yeah, why not? If you've really got people around you that you can trust and that support you, I don't see why not. I think people always get that image of what happens if it goes wrong, and like I say, that could be bad for a lot of people, depending on what you're working towards. It's not all about business, right? But it could be bad. But I think it's a great excuse for most people to never try. And I think there's a great incentive to it. As I say, whether it's friends, family members, whatever, the people who are with me on my journey are with me. I'm certain of that. They're with me on my journey. I trust in them 100%. I'd do anything for them. And as far as I am aware, the same is true in reverse. So what's the benefit of that then? A benefit of that is these are the best workers you can ever employ. They're the best partners you can ever have. They'll not screw you over. They'll not cause you any issues. So why are we then told not to work with them? Well, I think like a lot of things in the world of starting independence in terms of making money and business and improving your skills, it goes back to the same old thing. The concept of two people who trust each other, care for each other, working together on a project is going to create a very, very steadfast environment, or 3 or 4 people, right? Most of the most successful businesses, that's where it comes from, whether it's a range of ideas or the same ideas, but the fact that you can work maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times as fast. Like, if I had someone who could properly help me with my eBay business and had the same level of knowledge, or could perhaps be educated, or was willing to be educated, because that's another thing. You ask a lot of these people and they're like, no, I don't want to get involved for the risk that I've kind of outlined already. But if you did that, you've got an unstoppable workforce, right? You've got an unstoppable team. Not only are you working for yourself, which is going to be some motivation, you're also working for your brother, your friend, your mum, your sister, whatever. These are your people. And I think the message of, well, if you do that, then it's going to be high risk. Well, I don't think it is. I think that's the least risky partnership that anybody can get engaged with. And yeah, we all want to have nice times with our friends. And I hate to say this fact, it's not necessarily what I think is right, but I think it is a fact. Maybe it's an opinion, but I don't know. I feel like 90% or more of people's problems would be solved if they just had more money. Because if you have a think about it, what is there in the world? Well, obviously, number one, there's your health. That's that can be influenced by money. Let's not lie, right? You can go to better hospitals. You can all sorts of stuff to do with that. So that is partially actually influenced by money. But then you got other things. So there might be the health of you and those around you. There might be, I don't know, the weather conditions that you can't change. But again, you can move abroad. What I'm saying is, irrespective of where you are, how much money you have, there's certain factors in life that you just can't change. You just can't control. But think about most people's hell, right? Most people's hell is very, very simple to actually diagnose. I think most people's hell is this fact. They wake up every day super early, so they're tired. Why do they wake up super early? So they can go to work. Why do they go to work? So they can get money. So they wake up and they're tired. They go to work, so they waste all their day. Why do they go to work? Because they want money. They come home, they've not got any free time. You see the cycle, right? It's just a chase for money, a constant chase for money. So if that is true, which I personally believe it to be, getting more money is probably most people's solution. But as I said, the actual process of getting more money is difficult. Maybe it's 2 salaries that you could put together. Maybe it's 2 workloads in a business. If I have the opportunity to expand my business, and I think it would be a blessing in the future, but with the fact that I'm now doing a Patreon reselling business, which by the way, you can join with the link down below. You can learn about reselling yourself and look to do what I do. But whether it's that business, whether it's the actual YouTube videos that I make, I'm finding myself with less and less free time, which is okay. That's fine, because you're making the money, so it's 50-50. But then you get to a point where it's like, yeah, you're making the money, but you've gone full circle. You're now back to living the lifestyle in the 9 to 5 that you didn't want. Even if you're doing it for yourself, you might be making a fortune, but with no time to spend it. When the time for expansion does come, who am I going to trust? Who am I going to put my hands in with, right? It's my friends, it's my family members, it's anybody who's in my circle. I've got prior knowledge on them. I've seen their personal results and projects and whatever and how they live their life. They can tell me a lot about a person that alone. But I also know that if it's genuinely a case of, hey mate, we're building this business, it's going to be hard to get you 100% pay this month, that person's going to work with me. It's much harder to do that without a friend, without a family member, without an existing connection, right? And yeah, there's some brilliant workers out there that you can employ. But the idea of don't trust your friends and family members with business, don't mix work and pleasure, I think it keeps people poorer than they could be. I want to mix work and pleasure as much as possible, because 2 things are going to happen, right? So let's say the business that I started reselling with my mom. Now, we are not making a fortune reselling yet in this business. Actually, I think we've only had 2 sales in our clothing selling business at all. But this is the benefit of it, right? For me, I invested the cash. So it wasn't much. I think it was like £200, right? So I put £200 to the side. I went, Mum, go and get some stuff to resell, some clothes, because I'm trying to diversify the business, right? So go get some clothes, we'll list it on, I really am quite hands-off with the business, and I'll explain as I go on. But it's like, we'll list it online, you pick the site, you pick the clothes, here's your money, go spend it. She comes back with a load of clothes, and this is how it works. I want to get back my initial investment, which is fair, she agrees. But basically in terms of profit, 50-50 split, which means that, yeah, I technically lose out because I have to risk capital up front. But guess what? My mum gets a bit of extra money for something that she doesn't mind doing, and I get a bit of extra money, and I also get to know that that I'm helping a family member. So this is just my example, and I want to bring a lot more friends in on a lot of stuff, right? A lot of my projects and businesses and whatever. They're the people who I trust. I think the idea of don't trust a friend, don't trust a family member, whatever, with money, with business, it might ruin things. Yes, it might. But again, family members, not everyone's blessed with having good ones, so I couldn't really say, I think it'd be unfair. But friends, you pick who you have in your circle. And with that being the underlying message, why would we not trust these people to support us on our journey? I'm trusting them first. But maybe that's just me, maybe I'm weird. I just think, you know, it's a whole thing, right? We don't trust our friends, we don't trust our family members, the people who can help us the most. A consequence of that is going to be that we don't get the opportunity to build us fast. It's going to be the fact that we don't get to bring our friends and family members into a business that could be very, very lucrative for them as well, actually. And all of these different downsides that come with it. Maybe it's just me being optimistic, and maybe I'm just blessed to have a nice group of people in my circle. I don't know. I'd like to hope that everyone's got at least someone that they can trust. But next time that you have that think of, oh, is it a good idea to mix this business with this friendship? Maybe it's not. It's for you to evaluate the risks and that kind of stuff. But I don't see why it's a big thing, a big message of don't trust your friends and family members. They're the people who've built you to who you are. They're the people who you choose to spend your time with. Wouldn't you trust them first? So, mix friends and family members? Well, I think it's going to be a recipe for more potential profit, more potential production, and productivity as a whole. I think it's probably one of the best things that I've done. Again, it's only a small business with my mum, but like I say, for the time being, I am just about managing everything. I can make roughly enough videos for Patreon, but there's a lot of value on there if you do want to join, link down below. I can make the videos. Generally that's going quite well. I've had a bit of a rough week in terms of timing for a lot of different reasons, so apologies for that. But you get what I'm saying. I can basically upload every single day on YouTube, every day or two on Patreon for the most part, and list my eBay and other platform items every day. So it's fine for the time being, but there's going to be a point where I've got two choices. Do I not mix work and pleasure, or do I go and trust somebody else from perhaps a different country, or someone who's got no no affiliation to me, or do I trust the people closest? Well, I've already made my mind up on that matter, as I kind of said. Maybe people will disagree, that's okay too. I just wanted to share my views on it, and that's what I think. So maybe you'll have a different thought process, maybe you'll tell me down below. I hope you will. I'd love to hear it, so thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.